You guys, thank you for being so patient with me through the whole, I don't know those terms, shadow ban thing that happened today. And then when I did finally get it to post, an eagle eyed viewer saw that I had given away like my actual married last name, which I'm still trying to keep silent, just even for the sake of, I don't know why I'm trying to protect my in laws, but whatever. So anyway, continuing on. So this is sort of the part one, even though it's backwards now because everyone has seen part three and part two. But part one, I was just going to say, obviously we just had the wedding. Then there was sister-in-law's email about something needs to be done about Bethy. And then there was the mother-in-law texting and emailing, sweeping it under the rug, let's hang out. And so husband finally got his thoughts together and sent this email to everyone. So it went to his mom, both of his older sisters, and both of their husbands. Hi family, I'm going to address everyone at once to get my thoughts out in the open and try to get everyone on the same page with where I and the family stand at this time. Everything is swirling around right now, and I hope this email brings some clarity. First and foremost, I want to establish that Bethany and I are unified in our thoughts, and at times it feels like she gets singled out for taking the punishment that results from our joint decisions as a couple, and that feels like it undermines my ability to speak for my family and make decisions that most benefit my wife and children. At times throughout the last year, it has seemed to be a bit of a witch hunt where Bethany took a lot of the heat for decisions that either I made myself or that we had reached agreement on together. Going back to the original big confrontation at Mom's kitchen table with all of us on the phone, them on the phone, we were there. We had been expressing a desire to be able to say no to things without blame or guilt, and generally just establishing that we did not want to feel obligated to be present at every single event related to my married last name in Minnesota. I think a big reason for the latest dust up at the wedding related to those exact same issues, where we politely declined a joint hangout on Mother's Day for various and valid reasons. I may be mistaken, but again, our desire to stay home caused tensions to rise, and from our perspective made it harder to enjoy the present circumstances of our cousin getting married. I had gone in expecting a slightly awkward but otherwise cordial afternoon and evening, and it turned into quick confrontations that we weren't prepared for, and then quick exits before we could even get our bearings, or before Aunt, mother of the groom, and the groom could even finish their special dance together. I believe I had to say no to Mother's Day 5 to 6 times and came away again having to feel frustrated and guilty about wanting to recoup some energy and celebrate the mother of my children. We had spent the last 2 Saturdays doing in-law, relative, family things and simply needed a day. Other times throughout the year, we had shied away from family things because of a desire to stay safe with COVID, but again had to battle feelings of guilt for our apparent rejections. Part 2 of My Husband Finds His Voice. As the one kid still here in Minnesota, I have said before that there seems to be an unrealistic, to us and our personalities and desires, expectation that we need to be present whenever anything family things is happening ever, in addition to many smaller scale visits and events throughout the year. Even if we all lived closer together, I would still likely be having a similar conversation of expressing a desire to simply be able to have more weekends to ourselves as a family. As for Wildwood vacation plans, I am pretty disappointed to hear that so much hinges on our ability to tolerate each other. Like the wedding, I viewed Wildwood as an opportunity to put all the drama aside and hopefully start to build up positive momentum and have some good memories. We have been fully committed to this trip since the start, and now to hear that we are possibly the only ones still considering going is a bit ridiculous to Baltimore, our last name, and anyone else attached to the visit. No way to know for sure, but I have a feeling that if our family had threatened to drop out of the trip because we weren't sure that we could get along with everyone, I have a feeling we would be slayed for it. We plan on driving out this summer. Next summer will be a planned, my maiden name side of the family, vacation, and we can't swing double summer vacations. I would, of course, consider going out again in 2 summers, but we remain fully committed to the trip and are looking forward to seeing whoever cares to join. I would hope to never pressure or make anyone feel guilty for not being able to attend a vacation because their life got in the way. Lastly, I would like to make some changes in my own life with how much family communication I can handle. I've decided I'm going to leave our last name, clan group chat. I feel like it just tends to cause stress in my life, usually without intention on anyone's end. In my 8th grade class, he's a teacher. We look a lot at specific healthy cell phone habits, and I can tell for me that having a full family text thread going with all in-laws included just doesn't sit well with me. I will always remain open to any individual or occasional sibling-only type texts, but my brain just can't handle the daily dose of a text thread. I often think about how you, mom and dad, never had to navigate a group text with your parents or in-laws, and I think that's maybe for the better. Nothing against any specific person. I think it's just the group dynamic that doesn't work for me. I plan on leaving my last name, group chat too for the same reasons. I can understand how this could feel like I'm quitting the family, but I've found that I just don't do well with social media group cell phone stuff. I would like to try to make a commitment to communicating through other means to each of you individually and hopefully feel better doing so. I would also appreciate family communications going through my work or personal emails so that Bethany doesn't have to feel the need to respond to things related directly to our family. I want to be able to move on as a family, and I think a big part of that right now is being honest with what I and my family needs right now, and also that trying to fix what happened last year will probably never happen, but we can always show. Part 3 of My Husband Gets His Voice. I want to be able to move on as a family, and I think a big part of that right now is being honest with what I and my family needs right now, and also that trying to fix what happened last year will probably never happen, but we will always show up and be present when we can. Confronting people about when and why they haven't moved on from things doesn't do anything but move people backwards. Matt. I let his name be there because I feel like I've kind of dropped through talking about Maddie, text from his mom, that you knew that his name was Matt. A couple other things, because it will slightly matter for the future, is that this will matter. Wildwood is a vacation that we have been planning for. We had originally planned to do it in 2020, but then COVID happened to the globe, and so it was pushed to 2021. It was a vacation where we are going to Wildwood, obviously, all of the families. So mother-in-law is going to go down, wants to fly with us, which even before all this started going on was just like, dear God, no, you are not flying with us. And then sister-in-law who lives in Chicago, Illinois, whatever, doesn't matter as an identifier. Chicago's huge. They'll be going down as well. And then my other sister-in-law, also older than my husband, but kind of the middle sister-in-law, she and her husband will be flying from Washington to this Wildwood vacation. So again, the only reason I'm talking about this vacation is because, foreshadowing, it's going to become a very large deal in my future content. Another slight comment for now. I felt great after my husband sent that email. I was like, that just put an end to it. This is over. I remember, I'm going to admit this, I remember high-fiving myself in the mirror. Yeah, I'm admitting that. Because I was like, oh, this is over. And I love my followers because you guys are like spot on with recognizing this stuff. And so I can't wait to hear you tell me how naive I was to think that that email was ending it. Anyway, thanks for listening today. I took the day off from work. Happy Thanksgiving tomorrow, everybody. I'm going to be home because I've burned all my bridges. Not really. I just don't want to drive to my other side of the family in Iowa. Okay, bye.